Hi, my name is Celine, and the legislation that I chose was the Clean Water Act. I chose this because the entire course I always discuss the water pollution in my backyard in Monterey, California. Our water is so polluted and a lot of plastic pollution that affects the lives of all humans and animals. The basis of the Clean Water Act was intact in 1948, which was formerly called the Federal Water Pollution Control Act. It was then reorganized in 1972, which established the Clean Water Act. This is a federal law which was enforced to focus on water pollution in the United States. The target community for the Clean Water Act is everyone in the U.S. Water affects all humans, and it is vital to have clean water to drink, swim in, and eat from, meaning the animals that live or near the water. The target communities are rivers, lakes, coastal waters, and wetlands. The goals for the Clean Water Act are to restore and maintain. One environmental issue created by this of a personal story of a boy who has scabs on his arms, legs, and chest where the bath water polluted with lead, nickel, and other heavy metals has caused rashes, according to an article by Charles Guig in the New York Times. The cost to the community has made prices jump high for companies, businesses, and homeowners. This is to ensure that no pollution is entered in the sewer and water. The agency responsible for oversight of the Clean Water Act is the EPA, which is the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The standards for this legislation are set by each state that are specific for their needs. Waste management is in full effect and made sure with laws and permits. There are prohibited wastes that are not permitted unless an individual has a permit, like I mentioned before. The enforcement protocols for this legislation is that it must comply with environmental laws and requirements. The EPA works with its federal state to monitor and ensure compliance with clean water laws and regulations in order to protect human health and the environment, according to EPA.gov. The short-term effects of the legislation are requiring states to establish a maximum amount of pollution known as total maximum daily load. The long-term effects are that it is unlawful to discharge any pollutant in waters unless permit is obtained, like talked about before, talking about the standards of the Clean Water Act. The community's response has been both positive and negative. The positive side of it is that there has been progress to eliminate pollution from water. The negative side is that nothing has not really happened, especially relating it back to the article I mentioned from the New York Times with the boy who was affected from the pollution in the water from his own bathtub. The Clean Water Act connects to Healthy People 2020, as the Clean Water Act is part of the mission to keep our Earth's water clean from pollution. In conclusion, this legislation is important and has helped our Earth's water is affected, how it affects humans and animals. The standards that are in place are in great quality. I stand by this legislation and what it stands for. The recommendations for the Clean Water Act is to educate the public and surrounding communities about this legislation and what it stands for. Individuals need to start talking about this more, as it is not well known by the public, and to educate others about the health benefits and the effects it may have on an individual. This is extremely important for the future of the earth. I hope this legislation made each and every one of you think more about this act. Thank you for listening.